Dear students, good morning. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 28th September 2017. The first article, Army hits Ultras on Myanmar border. Previously, if you remember that, when army convoy was attacked in Manipur, India has crossed the border and attacked the NSCN Kaplang faction inside the Myanmar boundary. That was described as hot pursuit. That has become very much controversial. Now government or military has made it clear that India did not cross the Myanmar boundary in fighting the NSCN Kaplang faction militants. Hafiz Saeed, Lashkar a liability, Pak Minister. So, how this Hafiz Saeed, Haqqani network, Lashkar-e-Taiba have come into existence? When Russia has occupied the Afghanistan, United States wants to launch a proxy war. These are all the people who got the teeth, necessary weapons during this particular period. Now, the Pak Foreign Minister has clearly raised the issue. United States of America is responsible for the creation of these people, and it is shunning the responsibility and blaming the Pakistan for rising these terror groups. Let's come to the editorial page. The first article is the unilateral vote. It is related to the referendums. So what is the referendum? It is the instrument of direct democracy. And recently we saw this in the news in the case of Brexit and also Scotland and in Switzerland with regard to universal basic income. We have seen the referendums coming up in news. So a referendum, it helps us to know the public opinion and also educates the people about a particular issue facing the country. These are the positive sides. On the other side, every decision will be reduced into a binary yes or no question. Many a times, decisions lie in between as a compromise of the dialogue between various parties. But referendum pulls the people apart into two extremities. And second, in a representative democracy, representatives are expected to make the decisions. Now, through referendum, these people are moving away from their responsibility. So it means we are unable to fix the responsibility tomorrow for the failure of the policy, as decision is being pushed on to the heads of the people. And the third aspect is a referendum and its legitimacy depends on what government is ordering for it, and second, what are the questions which are being given to the people to choose from. These two questions are very much important. Now, if you take Iraq, Kurdistan or Quds wants to have a separate country. Now, these Quds are living in Iraq. They are also part of Syria. They are also part of Iran, and they are also part of Turkey. So they are living in these four countries, and these people wants to come together and to have a country, separate country called Kurdistan. These are minorities everywhere and are also victims of majoritarianism. In Iraq, Baath Party has used the chemical weapons. In Turkey, Kurdistan People's Party was regularly under attack from Erdogan. In Syria, though the government is not very active on the Quds, it is still skeptical about having a separatist movement out there. So here, after the Baath Party, Saddam Hussein lost the power, the change in dynamics has provided for greater autonomy to the Quds. So now the provincial government has ordered for a referendum to know the aspirations of the people for independence. And obviously it has got huge support from the people. The questions which are asked to them are either to have an independent nation of their or not, rather than greater autonomy. These kind of middle questions are not being asked to them. So obviously it has created repercussions in Iran, Turkey. So there is a major geopolitical significance for the same. If you go to Catalonia, previously the Spain government was highly centralized, unitary. Later, the Spain government has more become decentralized, greater autonomy is given to the Catalonia. In spite of this, the Spain is one of the worst affected economy during the recession, and unemployment rates have gone high up in Catalonia. So here, Catalonia believes that the resources which are flowing from them to Madrid, they are many a times higher than what they are getting from the union government. So that's why the referendum in Catalonia is more to reflect the economic dissatisfaction of the people. So, if you take the two criteria, one is who is ordering for the referendum. In both the cases, it is provincial government. And does the people have wider choices in the referendum? No. So, in these circumstances, the two questions of the legitimacy have failed to show up here. And the next aspect, falling off the healthcare radar. The old age population is increasing in India. So, as old age population increases, the disease burden of the country is bound to increase. The national health policy which has come up this year did not give special emphasis onto the old age population. So, old age population need geriatric care, supportive care. The major reason is non-communicable diseases, disability, and psychiatric or psychology related things are going to affect the geriatric patients. So, a strong social system, a medical system which is necessary to take care of these things have to be created. But Indian national health policy is not geared up to this. That's what is the point we need to remember. Next is confusing consent. It is about a rape judgment given in the Farooqi case by the Delhi High Court. Now, simply remember it as a rape victim normally faces one of the questions, that is, did she give consent or not? Though she gave the consent, she may withdraw the consent during the act. Now, the Delhi High Court has given a new clause that does the withdrawal of the consent, lack of consent, that is no from the victim, is it understood by the perpetrator of the crime or not? If it is not understood, then it will be considered not as a rape. So the Farooqi judgment indirectly conveying us this. So it means the burden to prove that she did not give the consent for sex lies on the victim. That's what makes the things complicated over here in this judgment. But this will not be of much importance with regard to question and answers for us are concerned. But judicial sensitivity, state or system sensitivity is very much necessary for the gender. That's what is the point which we need to take towards the exam. Repeat and repent. Obamacare is a landmark bill. It is called Affordable Care Act of United States of America. The healthcare costs are forbiddingly high in the United States. The major reason is the insurance companies will determine what diseases have to be treated, what will not be treated for. And in this case, many of the poor people were outside the insurance net for many of the diseases which they are facing. So, Obamacare wants to extend insurance cover to all the poor and also to all the diseases. Obviously, this has to be done. It means that the cost has to be borne by the taxpayers' money. The taxes are bound to rise. And second, the payments of the specialists have come down and general physicians have gone up. Because of these systems, the choices which are there for the rich people who are able to have the full insurance cover have come down. So the Republicans who wanted to have a greater choice and lesser taxes, they are always opposed to Obamacare. But today, the Republican Party itself is fragmented and the presidency of the Trump is failing to unite them. So, they are unable to repeal the Affordable Care Act passed by the Obama, which is famously known as Obamacare. Let's get to the open page. It is time to scrap the Eunuchs Act. Now, let's not get deep into this. So, the transgenders, these also have their own sexual orientation and gender identity. So, men dressing like women, these are called eunuchs. The Nizam government has passed a law against these eunuchs. And every eunuch has to be registered. And if they are participating in any of the social event, or if they are having a control over the child less than 16 years, it is all a punishable offense in Andhra Pradesh. So, this goes against to the recent judgment of the Supreme Court with regard to right to privacy. So, the Supreme Court has to declare this particular law as unconstitutional. Just you can use this entire article as part of, as to support and as an example in your answer. The way the wind blows. Now, one third of the Tamil Nadu's energy, it is coming from wind energy. And previously, the Tamil Nadu discoms, they used to make agreement with the wind energy firms to buy at a particular price. Now, in the open bidding, they are getting the wind energy at a lesser cost. So that's why these are unilaterally withdrawing from the agreements which they made with these firms before. Because of this, there is a policy uncertainty. So the article says that this policy uncertainty has to be dealt as quick as possible. Now, let's come to the news page. In this, CCS clears internal security scheme. Cabinet Committee on Security, headed by the Prime Minister. It has allocated 25,000 crore rupees for various states to modernize their police forces and to improvise the criminal justice system. For this, the money will be spent on new weapons, forensic laboratories, etc. Now, coming to women rights, in Saudi Arabia, women are given the right to drive the car now. Previously, if you remember, a woman was arrested for driving the car. So there is some improvement happening for the rights of the women under King Salman. That's what is the point which we have to remember. And finally, I gave the notes. It is at laix.in/civils prep. It will be available to you. Thank you very much and all the best.